President Donald Trump has been indicted for a fourth time.
Today, based on information developed by that investigation, a Fulton County grand jury returned a true bill of indictment.
Always a good sign when the prosecutor emphasizes words like a kid who just learned how to read. That's Georgia prosecutor Fani Willis, also known as Funhouse Mirror Kamala Harris. And she's bringing yet another indictment. That's 4 times in the last 5 months, which is more often than we've seen Jeb Bush. Fun fact, it's also how often Chuck Schumer brushes his teeth. This time, they're charging him under something called RICO, a type of indictment that this prosecutor has worked on before.
This is the 11th RICO indictment.
RICO was developed to go after the mob as a way to get mob bosses even when there wasn't a paper trail leading to them. So if they could prove that there was a criminal enterprise, or in other words,
a criminal conspiracy,
then anything done in service of that enterprise would be considered a crime. For example, if they could prove that a group was plotting to rob a bank, then anything someone did in service of that plot would be considered a crime. Buying 5 ski masks isn't a crime, but it's a crime if it's part of a criminal plot. Buying big bags with a money sign on the side isn't a crime, but you get it. They're characterizing his attempt to overturn the election as
a criminal racketeering enterprise.
And everything he did to accomplish that is now seen as a crime. So even if the acts themselves are legal, talking to lawyers, making memes, telling people to watch OAN, they can now be considered crimes if they are in service of the
criminal racketeering enterprise.
And yet again, this case is about lying. The idea that Trump lied to overturn the election, even though he knew all along that it was perfect, just like he knew all along that CNN is real news and Rosie O'Donnell is a marble goddess. One piece of evidence in the case is the infamous phone call in which Trump told a Georgia official,
"I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have."
You're probably familiar with that quote. It was featured in headlines for The Guardian, Yahoo News, the BBC, Georgia Public Broadcasting, ABC, and Bloomberg. And that's just what shows up on the first page of Google. But it's not the full quote. Here's the whole thing. So look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is more than we have because we won the state. Now, when you hear the first version of that quote, it sounds like he's saying the votes don't exist, but you need to find them anyway. Kind of like how Christopher Steele found the Russia P tape. But if you listen to the full sentence, he's saying that the votes are there, he won fair and square, but he's asking the official to get the accurate count. That's what he's been saying publicly this whole time, and they act like this is a gotcha. Next, they'll find a bombshell clip of him saying he wanted to build a wall. Cutting the clip this way gives the opposite of the intended meaning, which is something that we'd never do here at The Wade Show. By the way, Mrs. Prosecutor, who really won the 2020 election?
Donald John Trump.
Whatever you say. So yes, they're saying he's lying. So it's either A, they can't comprehend someone honestly believing something different from them, or B, they can imagine it and won't allow anyone to believe something different. I'll let you decide which fits better. This case is also different because it's a state case. All of Trump's other cases are being tried in federal court. But Trump was holding federal office at the time of these alleged crimes. So he could request that his case be moved up to the federal court, which could then fast-track it to the Supreme Court. Boy, if only Trump had planned ahead. And have you noticed there have been a lot of hit pieces coming out recently about Supreme Court justices? Martyr Made on Twitter thinks they're preparing the ground for the Supreme Court to eventually throw out all of Trump's federal charges, in which case I'll start a crowdfunding campaign to get Clarence Thomas another yacht. Another thing that sets this case apart is that Trump will get a mugshot, which means we're about to see the most successful campaign t-shirt since this one. And how has Trump responded? He promised to release on Monday an irrefutable report on election fraud in Georgia. He said there will be complete exoneration. It's almost like he actually believes there was election fraud. But he doesn't have to prove that there was. He just has to show that he believed there was and acted like it. Some folks on the right are saying that they're going after Trump in order to make him more popular because the left think they can beat Trump. And the guy they're really scared of is DeSantis or something. Here's what I say to that.
As always, yeah.
But if that applies now, does it apply to the Russia investigation? Was that because they were scared of DeSantis? No, they're going after Trump because he's a threat. He's demonstrated that he will do what he can to break their system. All the while, we're going after Joe and Hunter Biden. Folks have even taken to calling them the Biden crime family, depicting Joe as Vito Corleone. I prefer a different analogy. Imagine our country is run by the band Motley Crue. In this analogy, Joe Biden would be Mick Mars. He gets all the benefits of being a rock star, money, girls, whatever, but he's not exactly the band's fountain of creativity. And that would make Hunter Biden Mick Mars's son, Eric. He gets to impress girls at bars by saying that he's the son of a rock star. Let's say for some reason that you wanted to destroy Motley Crue and replace them with a better band, such as every other band. Would the smartest move be to go after Mick Mars's son? Not exactly. And let's say Mick Mars and his son Eric had a criminal enterprise and you could get them both put in jail. You still haven't destroyed the band. Your country is still run by the guys who wrote Generation Swine. So we're busy calling Joe Biden a criminal genius and they're calling Trump the same thing. But nowadays criminal just means someone who is a threat to the system. It's a mistake to think that the system is going to punish itself as some kind of
criminal, racketeering enterprise